They do have a school board, but that's separate from the city of Stockton. We can work in partnership with them, which is what I do. The lady who's basically like my grandmother is your school board president in Stockton Unified. But as far as the power the city council and the mayor have, they have the power of the bully pulpit so that you can get out there and make speeches and you can get out there and lead rallies and stuff. But you don't really have any authority on anti-bullying campaigns or reading campaigns or to things like that to improve literacy. You can, as a council member or a mayoral candidate, you can go out and encourage people to read and go to Rotary Read In and things like that.
So what I've done as a council member is I've worked with UOP, the United Way, and the Housing Authority to start an early literacy program during the summers at Conway Sierra Vista Homes called Summer Success University, where we pair first to third graders with UOP students and mentors to make sure they're reading over the summer. So as mayor, I seek to expand and scale those programs to other housing authority sites within the city, number one. Number two, as a council person, I worked very closely with the University of the Pacific's Beyond Our Gates Reading by Third initiative. And I've already been able to get an agreement with them to work with us in our South Stockton Promise Zone to increase literacy levels there in the district I represent now. And as mayor, I'll be kind of expanding those efforts and making sure it's citywide. What I've done as a council person, I was able to very robust internship program through the campaign, but also with Reinvent South Stockton. We've been able to paint 6-7 parks, and young people have gotten over 100 community service hours working with me and community partners, making their neighborhoods beautiful over the past 2 years. So doing things like that. I was able to work with our city manager's office to create a county board of supervisors, to create a summer works program to give young folks opportunity for real jobs and real experience. And then worked with our staff to bring back Youth in Government Day. So as mayor, I'll be kind of expanding on those programs, but also looking at things like when I was in high school, there used to be a Teen of the Month. A teenager in the city would be accepted for the good works they've done, and not accepted, nominated, and then the council would get them a little plaque and celebrate them. So that stuff like that, the Youth Advisory Commission used to work very closely with the mayor and city council. That's where I got my start in local government, actually, doing that work. So really providing youth an opportunity to be part of the decision-making process for the city.
For the youth, I'm looking to help to create more soccer fields, some soccer opportunities, because there's a lot of families that go elsewhere for tournaments every weekend. So I definitely want to make sure that people have a reason to stay in Stockton, because if people come here for tournaments, they're spending the night at our hotels, they're spending time in our restaurants, they're spending money, which Stockton needs, because the more money we get when people come to Stockton and shop in our malls and things like that, now we have more money to do special events. So in San Francisco and Los Angeles, they have these clubs for 19 and 20-year-olds to go. And as far as 18 and under opportunities, well, I think that they would benefit if I was to bring some of this family entertainment here. You can go to Delta and become the mayor. You can go to Delta and become whatever you want, because then you can transfer. And for me, I transferred to Humphreys College. So, what do we need students to have in order to be ready for college and be ready for the world? They need real life experience, because school is an institution. People are getting paid to educate you, and a lot of folks, they educate you from textbooks, right? I like to be educated from people that have real life experience. If you were a business owner and your business was successful, or if it failed, I want to hear from you, because I want to learn about that business. It excites me. Things that will help you get a job in the future: community involvement, working with animals, working with children, working with senior citizens, those type of what I believe should be something called portfolio assessment. So you just don't graduate based on tests, but you graduate based on what have you done your 4 years at school? Where have you volunteered? You have to show that you're a good volunteer, that you have a good heart, that you care about people. That experience by volunteering will get you ready for the real world.
I think our schools can be doing a lot more to prepare our students for either jobs or career. So number one, as mayor, I would work closely with our school districts to make sure our kids have access to coding education. If you went to school in San Francisco or San Jose, you'll be taught how to code just like you're taught art and just like you're taught Spanish, because it's a functional literacy. The ability to build websites and build apps is going to become incredibly important to be competitive in the workplace in the next 20 to 30 years. So making sure that students in Stockton have access to that. Number two, working very closely with our business partners. So whether it's the San Joaquin Partnership or the business council or the building trades, but all the main employers in the area, and figure out what are the skills needed and ensure that those skills are taught in our schools. First is that stigma is rooted in the reality. Like, people aren't making things up, and I think that's important to note. And that we can do all the glitzy PR campaigns, we can tell positive stories, and that's important. But until we really address the root causes of the issues we face with poverty and violence, we will continue to have a negative perception. So as mayor, the first thing will be addressing those very real issues that cause people to think Stockton's unsafe. Getting guns out the hands of criminals, providing opportunities for communities in poverty to improve themselves so people don't choose criminal lifestyles, number one. And then number two, also telling a very nuanced story of Stockton. That Stockton is not just a bankrupt place or just a miserable place or just a violent place, but it's a complex place like many other cities, and making sure as mayor, using that pulpit to kind of tell the many stories of Stockton.
Number one, everyone realizes that crime is the number one priority, and I think that folks might remember that I've declared wars on local gangs and drug lords in Stockton, and today we're sitting at 41 homicides. And that's a lot. That's one too many crime scenes. That's one too many funerals I've had to go to. But let me tell you, I don't want to go back to the way things were before I got here, when they had 58 homicides, when they had 71 homicides. We had record homicides. My first day in office, we were $2 billion in debt. I know that's a tough number for people to understand. What is $2 billion? Now that we've put out the flames, we're no longer leading the country in foreclosures. We no longer have these extremely high homicides. Now that we've hired the 100 police officers back that the last mayor and council got rid of, things are much better, so now we can focus in on quality of life. What are we going to do about the homeless situation? Do something that's ethical for them to get back on their feet, but to clean it up for the business owners. Doing something about the trash that you see around the city, the graffiti, those type of little things. What kind of city do you really want to live in?